Terraform and CI pipelines. Terraform commands run under an execution identity. A developer laptop uses personal credentials. A CI pipeline uses a machine identity. Terraform sends every AWS API request through the identity executing the run. Moving Terraform into CI changes who creates infrastructure. The infrastructure remains the same. The authorization boundary changes. Terraform executes after a repository event. A commit changes configuration files. The pipeline checks out the repository version associated with the commit. Terraform plans against that specific revision. Infrastructure changes become traceable to source control history. The repository becomes the operational input. Terraform compares configuration against current infrastructure state. The plan file records intended actions. Review occurs before modification. Unexpected resource creation, deletion, or replacement becomes visible. Human approval can occur before AWS receives change requests. The plan becomes a checkpoint between intent and execution. Terraform calculates changes from state data. A local state file exists only on one machine. CI runners are temporary systems. A new runner starts without previous local files. Remote state allows every pipeline execution to reference the same infrastructure record. Consistent state produces consistent plans. Terraform providers require authentication data. Hard-coded credentials enter source control history. Repository access expands credential exposure. CI pipelines platforms inject secrets at runtime. Terraform receives credentials through environment variables or role assumption. Infrastructure code remains separate from authentication material. Summary cryptographic material never lived inside procedure manuals. The manual described the process. Separate systems supplied the secrets. Terraform follows the same pattern. Code defines infrastructure. Credential systems provide authentication. Mixing the two increases exposure during every review, clone, and backup. Modern CI systems do not require long-lived AWS access keys. The CI platform presents a signed identity token. AWS validates the token against a trust relationship. STS issues temporary credentials for the Terraform run. Credential rotation occurs automatically because new credentials are issued for each session. Repository compromise no longer exposes reusable AWS secrets. Every pipeline execution follows the same sequence. The runner loads the repository. Terraform initializes providers and state. Terraform calculates changes from the current configuration. Automating the execution path eliminates drift introduced by local machine configurations and subjective operator habits. Infrastructure changes become reproducible across executions.